few weeks ago, I was getting tired of my current library of games and decided to play something new. At the time, I had access to the Xbox Game Pass, and I spent a good while looking through the vast selection to find anything that I could sink at least a few hours into. I was looking for a while when I finally saw a game that caught my eye. Outer Wilds is a space exploration game released for Xbox One, PlayStation 4, and Microsoft Windows, where you visit planets, uncover mysteries, and discover new worlds. Outer Wilds really surprised me and grabbed my attention for the week and a half that it took me to beat it, and so I decided to kick off my new video game review series, A Look Back, by analyzing Outer Wilds. Before I begin, I would like to issue a minor spoiler warning for the story, game mechanics, and gameplay of Outer Wilds. This game is best experienced blind, and any spoilers could negatively impact your experience with the game. This is a game where you can really only play it once, so if you are in any way interested in playing this game, I highly recommend you skip to the following timestamp on the screen. You gone? Alright, for those of you who need a refresher or didn't heed my warning, here's a short story summary. You play as unnamed protagonist, a blue, four-eyed Hearthian, as you travel the solar system. Being the first astronaut equipped with a translator, you're able to read the writings and recordings of the Nomai, an ancient civilization of furry, three-eyed creatures whose ruins and structures are found on nearly every planet in the solar system. As you slowly uncover the mysteries of the Nomai, where they came from, what they were doing, and why they died out, a clearer and clearer picture of their history is shown to you. There is deep lore and mystery around every corner in Outer Wilds. The story is truly epic, and yet I really don't know if it's good or not. Let me explain. The story of Outer Wilds is shown to you via the ship's logs and Nomai text strewn throughout the solar system. You start with nothing, and by the end of the game, you pretty much know everything. Every time you find new information, it feels like you've discovered it, so it kind of undermines the actual plot. There isn't really a plot. You would just kind of find information in any order. I can't really tell if the story is actually really good, or the experience of finding the information. Sometimes you'll find the story enjoyable in the first place. So it can be kind of redundant at times when you discover a new area, and really there's most of the information you've already really discovered. There are also so many Nomai characters that I really couldn't keep track of, and the majority of the story is given to you via reading. Lots and lots of reading. Which, if you're into that, that's a good story, but it's a lot of reading. Overall, the story made me invested enough in the world and characters that it would make me want to save them, and while the story can be a little lackluster, it truly shines when in tandem with the gameplay. The core gameplay of Outer Wilds consists of flying around, finding clues, returning to your ship, checking your ship log on where to go next, and repeat. Also, the sun explodes every 22 minutes. The world of Outer Wilds is stuck in an infinite time loop. Every loop, you wake up in the same spot, with nothing gained besides your knowledge. You start the game with everything you need to beat it. The people who worked on Outer Wilds really nailed the aspect of exploration. Every discovery feels like your own. You were the one to found this information. You found out how to get to the Sunless City. You found out that flying to the Sun Station isn't the right answer. Every aspect of this game is yours to discover, and I haven't even mentioned the changing environments. Several planets change over the 22 minutes of the loop. The hourglass twins exchange sand throughout the loop, opening and closing areas as time goes by. Brittle Hollow is a planet whose surface is breaking and often falling into the black hole at the center of the planet. Outer Wilds truly feels like an exploration. The graphics are stylized and aren't the greatest, but you can get over it quickly when you look at the incredible and awe-inspiring environments. There are some minor bugs and glitches I found, especially when you land your ship in a quantum zone. These are to be expected in an indie game. There are some minor frame rate issues at times, but it still runs better than some AAA games and has to render the entire solar system physics simulation at all times. The only gripes I had when playing this game were when I would miss a jump or fall off a platforming segment while I was trying to access a location that could only be accessed at certain times, and I would have to kill myself or wait out the entire loop before I could try again. And yes, I know there's a mechanic for that, but I never got access to it on my playthrough, and I got pretty frustrated at times when I would fall into the black hole at Brittle Hollow. Also, after you discover a new location that takes you some time to get to, you can usually find a shortcut nearby. However, if you don't find the shortcut, you have to make the journey all over again every loop. Overall, though, the gameplay loop and wide variety of locations and environments leads to an incredible experience where you can find a new secret around every corner. Besides a few minor gripes, moving and exploring has never been so fun in any game I have ever played. I consider music to be as important in video games as gameplay, and Outer Wilds does not disappoint. Unlike Breath of the Wild, which mostly has a very subtle yet extraordinary soundtrack, Outer Wilds' music, while not being played as often, is front and center. It for sure has moments when the music is deeper in the background, but most of the soundtrack is loud and hard to ignore, which can be both good and bad. Timber Hearth and the Traveler's themes are incredible. End Times is pretty good, but aside from those, there aren't as many standout tracks. Almost all the tracks in the games are location specific, which makes them more impactful as the music chimes in to cement a huge discovery. That leads to some pretty great moments when you finally solve that final puzzle or discover a shocking revelation. However, the soundtrack is always location based and doesn't account for when you return to a location you have already found, and the music will start blasting, which can be a little annoying at times. Aside from those minor issues, Outer Wilds provides a fairly decent soundtrack, and it's worth a listen or two just for Timber Hearth. To summarize my final thoughts, Outer Wilds is an exceptional exploration puzzle mystery game that completely blew my expectations out of the water. It excels at capturing the feeling of discovery and provides an excellent story. It has great graphics and visuals and is a marvel of a physics simulation. This game is a must-play and is only $25, so buy it. This game doesn't get enough attention and deserved the win for Game of the Year in 2019. I give Outer Wilds a 9.5 out of 10. A few minor improvements would make this a masterpiece. So that's it with my Outer Wilds review. I hope you like this new review stuff I'm doing. I hope to do more in the future, and if you have any game suggestions, I'd love to hear some in the comments. But I hope to get, if I do another one, it'd probably be maybe at least 2 weeks, or maybe a week or two, because I'd have to play the game or replay it if any of that requires it. But see you next time I upload a video.